I know the introduction to this video made it pretty clear that JT Music is my favorite nerdcore artist, but that just raises the question. Who's my second favorite? Well, for a while it was DA Games, you know, back when he could be considered nerdcore. Now my second favorite's Stupendium, but that's a video for a different day. Well, it's a different day, so time for that video. Ever since I discovered the Stupendium in early 2018, I've wanted to do a countdown on him. I had to hold off for a while though, as he didn't have that many videos out, so options were pretty limited. But with roughly 2 years worth of videos available to me, now seems like a good time. What sets the Stupendium apart from other nerdcore artists is the amount of care put into each video. While I love artists like JT Music, let's be honest, most of the videos are just an awesome song layered over gameplay footage. With the Stupendium, each upload feels like an event because each video feels unique and dripping with style. As such, I'm going by the rules I used for random encounters rather than JT Music. For those who don't know, that means I'll be taking the entire video into account rather than just the song. Also, I gotta clarify a few things. The fine print came out after the script was finished, so while it is probably worthy of being on the list, I really didn't feel like figuring out where to slot it in. Plus, I wouldn't have had enough time for my thoughts on the video to develop as much as I would have wanted them to. Also, no, The Day That You Die was never eligible for this list. It is awesome, largely because of the Stupendium, but it's clearly a random encounters musical, so it wouldn't really fit with the other videos here. With all that cleared up, let's begin.
Come on, kids, gather round. It's time to meet a marvel of light and sound.
If I had to pick one word to sum up No Waves Like Home, it would be soothing. A lot of that has to do with the chorus provided by Squiggly Dig, which is quite beautiful, but it's far from the only factor. Stupendium's rapping takes a much more relaxed approach than usual, almost as if the listener's freaking out and he's trying to calm them down. The lyrics also play into this. Despite the song essentially being about getting stranded on an alien planet and trying to survive, it sort of glosses over that fact and redirects your attention to all the pretty wildlife around you. The video part of this is just okay, which is why it's lower on the list, but if you ever need to chill out, this is a good song to play.
I came back to silly vision, I really wish I didn't. Been here a minute and I into the shit riddance.
The months leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 were a strange time. It was a period of intense hype for a game that most people were convinced would never come. And of course, we got a Stupendium song out of it. A Little Heart isn't really a tribute to Kingdom Hearts as much as it is to the legacy of Disney. This song references over 60 Disney songs and has a really loving and whimsical tone to it, just like the feel you tend to get from Disney itself. While most of the visuals are relatively unmemorable, those circular dioramas of various Disney classics looked beautiful. Honestly, this song's such a good tribute, it makes KH3 feel kind of disappointing by comparison, but that's a topic for a different day.
Was this big man to be full of fake man, some demonic pigment? I don't think that's proper use of the equipment.
Dr. Doctor is probably the funniest song Stupendium has done. Scratch that, that's kind of a tough thing to decide. What I will say is that it's the most humor-oriented of his songs. Nearly every lyric is focused on a joke in some way, and I think that really serves the song. The jokes range from jabs at how greedy and unprofessional the hospital is, to puns that would make Chugga Conroy groan.
Doctor, I keep forgetting what an airport building is called.
I'm so sorry. It's terminal.
The effects in this video are pretty good too, always serving the joke of whatever goofy disease the patient has. Also, this video is a collab with Rustage, and he does a good job. The best thing I can say about his performance is that it feels really organic. There's no signal that things are switching from one rapper to another. It just nicely flows back and forth.
No longer on the stage, golden age has gone away.
What really stands out to me about the second is the haunting atmosphere it gives off. From the visual aspect, it's the pale red background and the soulless look on Stupendium's face, interspliced with footage of 47 killing people. The musical aspect communicates it even better, with the haunting synth beat and the way Stoops delivers his lines. Always either in hushed whispers or blunt threats. It's very matter of fact. If 47 sets his sights on you, you will die. There's no way around it. The most haunting part, though, is the lyrics. The entire song is essentially describing the process of 47 killing you and all the various ways he can do it. Everything from the one slip up the target made to the last thing they feel before they die. It's a really chilling song, and that's what makes it great.
And this place is rep is stained. Who'll clean up this ink and paint?
The aftermath is just an overall solid video. Let's start with the presentation. It looks terrible, but I mean that in the best way possible. Baldi's Basics looks terrible because it's mimicking old educational PC games, and this video looks terrible because it's mimicking Baldi's Basics. And I gotta say, its terribleness looks great. There's always a ton to look at on screen, and it all looks hilariously cheap in the best way possible. As for the music, the song's pretty fast-paced and just keeps speeding up as the chase gets more intense. One line in particular really stands out to me. I don't know why, but something about the way that line was delivered just makes it sound like the most hopeless thing imaginable. I mean, I've never personally had a snack bar stolen, but after hearing this song, I'd imagine it's on par with my entire family getting gunned down by a drug cartel. Also, the first grader costume is now what I instantly think of when I imagine the protagonist in Baldi's Basics, because really, what else would he look like?
12 frames a second, everyone is spelling certain doom, mowing through a load of goo that's grown into a cherry tree.
The House Always Wins is pretty different from the kind of music I usually listen to. Usually, I favor something more fast-paced, intense, or both, but Stoops really made it work here. He's playing the exact kind of character he seems to be most at home with, a grumpy old businessman, and as a result, he really pulls off the role. I've never played Fallout New Vegas, but he manages to give Mr. House this aura of superiority that I'm assuming he has in the game. The lyrics are really well written. They're both clever and emphasize House's power.
Peace is just a product with a focused test of billions, and the test was unsuccessful, so we altered its description.
Your safety now provided by the guys at Robco Services.
For one ongoing price of your unwavering subservience.
The best part is the lyric change in the chorus, starting with the common casino phrase, "the house always wins," and shortening it to "house always wins," which is the central message of the song. It doesn't matter what you think you can do, house always wins. However, the biggest highlight of this video is the animation. The whole color scheme is designed to look like the interface of a Pip-Boy, which really fits with the slower tone of the song, and the animations are really eye-catching. Not only are they nice to look at, but they also emphasize the power House has over New Vegas, because like the song says, House always wins. This entry is a tie, and when you see which two I picked, you'll get why. It's a known law of the universe. If Dan Bull gives a challenge that's obviously meant as a joke, the Stupendium will accept that challenge and make something wonderful from it. Let's start with Chairman of the Board. This was a simple task, rap about board games. The video is also pretty simple, as it's one of the few Stupendium videos without a bunch of fancy effects, aside from a few filters. That doesn't matter though, as Stoops oozes so much charm in this one, it carries the video on its own. He switches between several characters here, and he really sells each one, including a greedy Monopoly player, a nerdy Scrabble champion, a creepy Clue combatant, and a sleazy game show host to tie it all together. The lyrics are also really good. I never thought you could write good lyrics about Scrabble, but Stupendium pulls it off, as they're both funny and fit with the spirit of each game he talks about. It's one of his longer songs, and it isn't even over at the end. There's a sequel. This time, Dan challenged people to a round of Scrabble, so you know the chairman had to get involved. The Chairman Rolls Again is a diss track against Dan Bull that centers around how much better the Stupendium is at Scrabble, and as you would imagine, it's hilarious. Obviously, the goal isn't actually to tear down Dan, so the insults seem kind of aimless. ridiculous. That's fine though, because they're funny enough without actually being sick burns, and they're seriously propped up by Stupendium's flow and the ever-changing background. And that's it for the chairman raps. I'm sure we won't be seeing anything relating to Dan Bull later down the list.
Darkness roused, no house of mouse. Kingpin, Kingpin, you're in my house now.
When it comes to What a Foul Day, the first thing you'll probably notice is that costume. This is the most hilariously extravagant thing Stupendium's ever worn for a video, and I love it. Seriously. When he was teasing this video, all we got was him in the costume, and there were two camps. Those who correctly guessed he'd be singing about Untitled Goose Game, and the much more logical explanation, the KFC dating simulator. Costume aside, this video has plenty of stuff going for it. The song, especially the chorus, is pretty catchy, and the animated segments really match Untitled Goose Game's art style. However, the best part of the video is the sense of mischief it gives off. Stupendium's played plenty of villainous characters in the past, but I don't think I've seen him embrace the role as much as he has here. With the trouble he's causing Rust Age, the smug body language, and the overall tone of his singing.
I care not the fences, I'm on the offensive, a feathery devil who revels in senseless attempts at upending your endlessly friendly pretenses. Your temper's expanded. Ooh, was that expensive?
I never thought I wanted an Anthro Goose lecturing me on why causing trouble is good for me, but now that I have it, I'm not sure I'm willing to let go.
I don't think you even know what art is to say that art is just catharsis.
You know, I was kind of disappointed when no one made a song about Ultimate Custom Night. The one FNAF game I played, and it's the one no one talks about. It's okay though, because while Back Together is actually about Help Wanted, it feels like it could have just as easily be about Ultimate Custom Night. This video is a love letter to the whole FNAF franchise. The music and singing give the video a really inviting feel to it. Despite the fact that everyone involved is a murderous animatronic, it feels like you're meeting up with a group of old friends you haven't seen in a while. It mostly focuses on the main four, but you get to see plenty of the other characters too, and a bunch of them get their own verses. There's also a bit about Plushtrap taking over, but it's so infrequent that it gets pushed into the background. The best part of the video though is the artwork. It's really colorful, and the designs of the characters are really appealing. It makes them look friendly while still keeping them a bit creepy. Some of the setups for the shots were really good. I've seen people make fan art of the moment with the original 4 because it was just that good. In the end, this video is pure eye candy and captures the feeling of meeting up with a bunch of old friends who may or may not want you dead. Notice how I never gave this list a 1 per franchise rule. The only reason I did it last time was because a lot of JT Music songs about a franchise will tend to be really similar. You could make a similar argument for the Stupendium, but that starts to fall short the moment you look at his Fallout songs. The House Always Wins couldn't be any more different from Vault number 76. This one has a much more upbeat tone to it, but the subject matter is just as somber. Basically, according to this song, everyone left Vault 76 because they slowly started to turn on each other, eventually getting to the point where they're killing each other over petty squabbles. As you would imagine, it's pretty funny and oddly satisfying to see Stupendium get more and more deranged as the song goes on. From a musical angle, this video's pretty good too. I especially like anything involving the chorus as it's a literal choir, and quite catchy. And of course, that lead into Country Roads is pretty damn sweet.
Take me home to a place that won't radiate my bones. Hear a silly little ditty with a playful tone, transmitted from the middle of the danger zone.
Also, the visuals in this video are really entertaining, to the point where I actually forgot this was one of the videos that used gameplay. The shots are just so colorful and the effects are all over the place. Once again, the highlight here is the chorus men. Seeing a choir completely made up of the same guy is kind of mesmerizing to watch.
Soon enough, you'll come round, embrace this darker art.
Why Did I Say Okie Dokie is easily the Stupendium's most popular song, and for good reason. It's also the only one of his videos to have 3 separate versions. The original, a Minecraft animation in the original, and an orchestral remix. So, which one did I choose? The orchestral version is good in its own right, the instrumental is beautiful and epic, and the singing is emotional, but I still prefer the original version. So after that, the choice is pretty obvious, right? Surprisingly, no. The original looks good throughout the video. It might be a bit underwhelming at times, but that easily gets made up for in the chorus, and especially the final verse. Things just get so flashy and chaotic, it really fits with the total breakdown of the song. And then there's the Minecraft version. I was expecting this to be a throwaway fan video, but no. The animation in this one is so fast-paced and expressive, it makes the video a joy to watch. It even does a good job conveying the creepier and more epic parts. I never thought I'd say that about a Minecraft animation, but here we are. I honestly feel kind of bad for looking down on Minecraft animations as cringy if this is what they can do in the right hands. In fact, I think this video might be the strongest of the three. Oh, that's right, there's an actual song here too. Like I said, it's not hard to see why this is Stupendium's most popular song. The beat is really catchy and the song just gets more intense as it goes on, starting off fun and bubbly and ending on a crushing, hopeless finale. However, the change is so gradual that it takes you a while to notice, and the song stays catchy and appealing the whole way through.
When you passed out, we made contact extremely deep underground.
And that's it for the chairman raps. I'm sure we won't be seeing anything relating to Dan Bull later down the list. Oops, looks like I lied. This video was a long time coming. Dan Bull and the Stupendium have collabed before, but it was always just a guest verse here or a chorus there. This is a full-blown rap battle. Before I get into the video, a bit of context. In Frostpunk, the campaign has a point where you have to choose between faith and order to keep the people in line. So here, we have a rap battle between the two options, with Dan repping order and the Stupendium brandishing faith. From a visual perspective, this video isn't as flashy as some of the others, but the visuals get the job done. What really carries this video is the song. The chorus is beyond epic, and both sides have references to their previous Frostpunk raps. As for who wins the rap battle, that's kinda hard to say. Both contenders do a great job fulfilling their respective roles, both in terms of lyrics and delivery. Stupendium does a great job portraying an inspiring yet fanatical religious leader, and Dan does a great job as a brutal, no-nonsense dictator. The coolest part of this video, though, is the ending. You see, one of the sides ends up winning and getting a third verse. The twist is that this video was uploaded both to Stupendium's and Dan Bull's channels, and which side won depended on which channel you were watching. And in case you want the definitive version, the iTunes release has a version with both the third verses. And it's really interesting just how similar the two of them are, with stylistic changes between the two, but overall being the same. Kinda like the choices in the game.
Cause these creatures need their sheep so he can free us from these bounds.
When I first saw A Matter of Factories, I wasn't expecting to like it this much. On my first viewing, I was distracted by the beat. Maybe you can see why. That's right, this song has the exact same beat as Dan Bull's Mario Odyssey rap. I'm not accusing anyone of plagiarism, it's just kind of funny. It's not that big a deal either, as the beat is really good, and you forget about the similarity quickly enough. From a visual perspective, this isn't one of the more notable Stupendium videos, as it leans heavily on gameplay footage, but the clips where Stupendium's on screen are pretty memorable. Something about the office's background is just really appealing. The lyrics in this song are also some of the most cleverly written ones Stupendium has done. I mean, this song is essentially a greedy CEO gleefully rapping about destroying the environment, and it's hilarious. Seriously, just listen to some of these lines.
Mother Nature is minted, it's evident for her kids that boy is the precedent. Where there's a will, there's a way to inheritance. Whether we killed her or not is irrelevant.
What really puts the song this high, though, is the musical element. Everything from the really jumpy beat to all the filters put over Stupendium's voice to just how aggressive he gets make this song a really fun one to listen to over and over. Oh, and to add to the crossover drama, this video made a cameo in Dan Bull's Outer Worlds rap. I just figured I should mention that.
Questions about the chair that I am strapped in? I little sheep, I meet a pal of mine with black wings.
On this list, I've talked a lot about Stupendium embracing the character he's playing. Well, as good as he's been at that in some of the other songs, I don't think those performances hold a candle to this one. Pictures of Spider-Man. This is certainly an interesting idea for a rap. A song about the new Spider-Man game, sung from the perspective of J. Jonah Jameson. This song has a lot going for it. There's the almost heroic beat, which emphasizes this image of heroism Jameson's imagined for himself. Also, there's the ever-changing chorus with a funny little animated Jameson. Plus, this song is a collab with Dan Bull, Rustage, and JT Music, and they're all worked in a pretty clever way, by having each of them call into Jameson's show, only for him to completely dismiss their concerns. Like I said though, the major highlight of this video is the Stupendium as J. Jonah Jameson. The way he portrays Jameson is great. Of course, we have him yelling about what a menace Spider-Man is, and it's hilarious, but he's not just some shouty asshole. This song makes it clear that Jameson has deep, principled beliefs that lead him to hate Spider-Man, even giving him some good points at times.
The next crazy Cape Crusader out to punish folks for fun? It's unthinkable when we've already got a force we've funded. The fact is, folks, your taxes don't do jack for stopping crime. Now they're spent to fix the messes that these loonies leave behind. Non-lethal? That's just fine. You just hung them up in a bundle of twine. Our city's window cleaners find them 10 floors up in 10 months' time.
He's not just some mindless demagogue. He's the kind of guy where even if you don't agree with him, you can respect how he came to that conclusion. And Stupendium did a great job of portraying that while still being hilarious.
But you know that in between the breakdowns, you can always find the key.
The Stupendiums had a pretty consistent upload schedule for a while now. At least one new song per month. That is, with one major exception. Right after No Waves Like Home, he announced that we wouldn't see a new video for a while because he was working on a big project. The hiatus lasted 3 months, with the only new song being a remix of an existing one. I really started to miss seeing new uploads of his and hoped that whatever this new project was wound up being worth it. I was not disappointed. To start with, at least until Back Together, this is the most ambitious project the Stupendium had done since Find the Keys. Also, if you're wondering why that one didn't make the list, there's a couple reasons. The animation is really engaging and varied, but it feels unfocused, and musically, while it isn't bad, it feels a bit clunky. Plus, aside from the countless references, there isn't much I can say about that video that this one doesn't do better. So, where to start here? How about the visuals? While there isn't as much movement here as Find the Keys, every shot is pure eye candy, and it almost always switches quick enough to prevent you from getting bored, with the only possible exception being the elevator scene at the beginning. This video feels like it covers everything. There's the never-ending sea of ink, the dark, intimidating poses of the Butcher Gang, the epic sprawl of Alice's machine, the uncanny integration of live action, the 3D POV segment on the roller coaster, and plenty more stuff I don't have time to mention. It honestly feels like this was Stupendium taking everything he learned over the past 2 years and working it into a worthy successor to Find the Keys. And I haven't even gotten to the musical aspect yet. If we were disregarding the videos and ranking this list based on the songs alone, this would still be #1. The dark, mysterious, yet energetic beat sets the perfect tone. The vocal range on display here is great too. Stupendium does a bunch of different voices throughout the song, and they all sound good and fit with it. Highlights include the Butcher Gang's verse, the chorus, which is rivaled only by A Purpose for New London, and the song's absolute peak, the roller coaster segment.
Swim along to the bouncing ball, wave your flags and renounce these halls. You may have been sacked from this pantomime, but a pal of mine wants you recalled. So march along to the count of 4, astounded the scoundrel crowd you've drawn, left stranded and down to this mangled form. To abandon us here was an act of war.
I really really can't sing this song's praises enough. It's honestly one of the best music videos I've seen on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it yet, I absolutely recommend you check it out. I'm Defoffalizer, and that's it for 2019. I may or may not make another video after this, but as far as countdowns go, this is the last one for this year. See you in 2020.